Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your cannabis business podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the top 10 cannabis industry news stories of the week, starting with number 10. U.S. cannabis company Red, White, and Bloom shines in its Canadian Stock Exchange debut. They IPO'd on Friday with over $6.5 million in trading volume, temporarily looking cheap compared to its competitors. All right, moving on to number 9. Psychedelics are creating a pathway to sustainable addiction treatment. Number 8. Magic mushroom pills versus synthetic psilocybin. Which one is a better option? Number 7. Illinois allows hemp sales to medical and adult use processors. A recent industry rules update allows Illinois hemp producers to sell to licensed medical and adult use cannabis processors. Illinois has expanded its hemp market by allowing hemp producers to sell directly to adult use and medical cannabis processors in the state. Illinois is doing it right. Washington actually allows for only cannabis-derived CBD, so you can't even really have hemp because the way that the rules were written were strictly for cannabis and not for hemp. So good on them for updating that. Number 6 on the list, psychedelics will see a boom, much like cannabis. Number 5, marijuana banking would pass the Senate if a vote were held. So before the Safe Banking Act reaches the Senate floor, it's got to get through the Senate Banking Committee. Apparently, Senator Cory Gardner thinks that cannabis banking bill would be approved if it were taken a full vote of the U.S. Senate, but it's getting the measure in front of his colleagues that's been the issue. That's because Senator Crapo of Idaho doesn't want to hear anything. So I can guarantee you that's all about money. Lobbyists will not allow him to even allow for that bill to be heard because, of course, it's going to get passed. Moving on to number 4, New York senator pushes to legalize marijuana as part of a criminal justice package amid the protests. So the Safer New York Act is a collection of 5 bills that have been previously introduced and largely focused on police reform, but it also contains legislation to legalize cannabis for adult use. So mass protests over police killings of Black Americans continue across the U.S. There's a renewed push in New York to pass a package of criminal justice reform legislation that includes marijuana legalization. You know, for a Democratic state, New York is crazy. The stop and frisk was insane. Everywhere, no matter what state you go to, the amount of young Black Americans that are in prison for the same thing that whites are doing, like smoking cannabis, is insane. So hopefully this act will pass. Number 3, Michigan dispensaries offer discounts to people with cannabis-related convictions. They're calling it the redemption discount. So 3 Michigan provisionary centers are teaming up to offer a unique discount program geared specifically towards people caught up in the trap of marijuana prohibition. So it sounds a lot like the other social equity programs. Hopefully they will expunge any other records that they have and then give them tax advantages as well as first rights or first access to any licensing, just like most of the other social equity programs out there. Number 2, High Times expands its retail footprint by licensing a deal with Red, White, and Bloom. So Red, White, and Bloom Brands said Friday that it inked a deal licensing rights with High Times. And under the agreement, they authorize the branding of High Times medical and recreational dispensaries, as well as CBD and THC products. So in Michigan, Illinois, and Florida, they'll be obtaining the rights from High Times to use the Culture brands of hemp-derived CBD products. So that might work out simply because High Times really isn't involved. It's a licensing agreement. So Red, White, and Bloom could take it and actually do something with it. I just laugh because everything High Times has touched for like the last 2 years has absolutely fallen apart. So whoever's at the helm, just sign something over and let somebody else take over at this point. It's a good idea. All right, number 1, what you need to know about the coming wave of psychedelic-based psychotherapy clinics. So with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out. Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.